Have you ever wondered what could shock the world and even the most powerful players on the global stage? China, with its unexplored and mysterious military might, is preparing something that could change the entire game. Secret developments, hidden from view but so powerful that even the US is starting to feel uneasy. What is it? New technologies that can shake even the strongest nerves? Or weapons that promise to redefine the concept of warfare? Are you ready to find out what lies behind China's military power? Stay with us, and soon details will emerge that will take your breath away. Imagine a sea monster capable of overshadowing even the ocean itself. Fujian is not just an aircraft carrier, it is China's challenge to the global order. A giant that doesn't ask for a seat at the table of naval powers, but boldly takes it. 80,000 tons of steel, electronics, and ambition, nearly 300 meters of pure power, the first electromagnetic catapults in China's history. The American Gerald R. Ford nervously smokes in the corner because, until now, only it could boast such technology. Now, China is launching its fighters into the sky faster, stronger, and more efficiently. Forget slow, predictable missiles of the past. DF-27 is changing the rules of the game. This is not just a hypersonic missile, but a true nightmare for missile defense systems, capable of breaking through any defense. It flies faster than the enemy can blink, with a range of over 5,000 miles. The US has already openly admitted that its air defense systems are powerless against this beast. DF-27 can maneuver at hypersonic speeds, making it nearly impossible to intercept. It can also carry a nuclear warhead. So, if anyone dares to test China's patience, the consequences will be instant and irreversible. If conventional anti-ship missiles are like pistols in a duel, then the YJ-21 is a sniper rifle firing at hypersonic speed. This Chinese missile is launched from destroyers and submarines, flying at over Mach 5 while sharply maneuvering to evade any missile defense system. Even American aircraft carriers, the pride of the US Navy, can no longer feel safe. YJ-21 turns them into expensive targets. One salvo, and an entire squadron could be reduced to a pile of metal, because at such speeds, the kinetic energy of impact alone is devastating. A deafening roar, as if nature itself has held its breath, and suddenly, a massive steel and technology behemoth emerges, a floating city of war, where every meter signifies power and every bolt serves as a warning. Reactors pulse at its core, generating enough energy to illuminate a megacity, while its deck serves as a launch platform for machines that determine the fate of the world. But is there anyone equal to it on the seas? Of course, someone who refuses to back down, someone who also carries power and ambition. Two titans, China and the US, two contenders for the throne of the world's waters. Cold, ruthless, and damn smart, Marker is not just a robot, but a walking nightmare for anyone caught in its sights. This steel predator doesn't tire, doesn't make mistakes, and never hesitates. It doesn't need sleep, water, or morale. Its treads devour the ground, its powerful sensors scan the terrain, and its modular weapons make it a universal combat machine. Want machine guns? Easy. Missiles? No problem. Kamikaze drones? Got those too. It moves, analyzes, and destroys. And now think, what if there weren't just one, not 10, but hundreds like it? Humans fight with emotions, mistakes, and fear. Marker fights with algorithms. And guess who wins? Look at this scene. Not just ships, but an entire battle spectacle, where the main character is a Chinese aircraft carrier. It advances, flanked by a powerful escort fleet, like the royal court of a sovereign king. Each vessel carries destructive force, capable of projecting power across thousands of kilometers. They don't just sail, they stake their claim on the ocean, making even the fiercest storm step aside. This entire armada moves like a ruthless band of raiders who haven't come to negotiate, but to take what's theirs. Imagine needing to cross a minefield. Would you walk through it yourself? Probably not. That's where Uran 6 comes in. A Chinese bomb disposal robot that plays Russian roulette with mines and always wins. This armored beast, the size of an off-road vehicle, confidently crawls forward and sending deadly traps straight into history. Its reinforced body withstands explosions, while its powerful manipulators effortlessly clear the lethal debris. It doesn't fear, doesn't hesitate, doesn't make mistakes. Just think about it. A laser shield on a fighter jet. Picture an aerial battle. A missile is closing in, the enemy is already celebrating, but at the last moment, an intense flash of light, and the missile simply vanishes. No ammunition, no extra weight, just pure energy traveling at the speed of light. Missiles, drones, even enemy aircraft. Anything caught in this laser's sights turns to smoke. You thought aviation had already peaked? China is just getting warmed up, and its developments are already undergoing active testing. What if the Terminator and an armored personnel carrier merged into a single mechanical body? You'd get combat warrior Vissel, China's answer to the wars of the future. This steel warrior moves on its own, makes decisions on its own, fires on its own. No soldiers, just cold algorithmic calculation. The Chinese have long understood, if the future belongs to technology, why should humans still be running under gunfire? Vissel is a heavily armored fortress on tracks, packed with artificial intelligence. And this is just the beginning. The Chinese always play the long game. Today, Vissel is a prototype, but tomorrow its clones could flood the battlefields. If Beijing really puts autonomous killing machines into mass production, the balance of military power in the world could shift dramatically. The tension is off the charts. A Chinese submarine dives deep, while behind it, American destroyers tear through the water with sonar beams. This is not just a chase, it's a chess match in the abyss, where the stakes are an international scandal, or worse, a military conflict. The Chinese crew knows, if they are detected, they will have to either surface and surrender or go all in, and they choose the latter. The submarine descends even deeper, risking entering a zone where the pressure could crush the hull like a tin can. What do you think will happen if the Chinese activate jamming systems or suddenly disappear from the radar? Would that be considered an act of aggression against the US? If just one of these mechanical creatures is terrifying, imagine an entire army of them. Chinese engineers seem to have turned the battlefield into a horror movie. Their autonomous, spider-like drones can crawl on any surface, hide in cover, and, when needed, leap straight at their target and explode. And if that's true, we are talking about a fundamentally new type of weapon. Small, fast, and intelligent, they can reach places where neither missiles nor conventional drones can go. And what if there are thousands of them? The US and its allies should be seriously concerned because, as we all know, robots are not intimidated by sanctions or even nuclear deterrence. What if I told you that China is on the verge of creating a plasma barrier capable of literally deflecting bullets and missiles? Black Barrier is not just science fiction, it's a very real threat. Imagine a weapon moving at more than 5 times the speed of sound while generating a superheated plasma bubble around it, incinerating everything in its path. What is this? An unprecedented defense revolution or the ultimate offensive weapon? The Chinese are working on it in secrecy, but one thing is clear. If this technology becomes widely available, the US and other military powers will have to rethink their entire defense strategy. After more than a decade and $10 billion in investment, China has developed a hypersonic missile that could pose a serious threat to the entire world. These missiles move at such extreme speeds that interception becomes nearly impossible. For comparison, the traditional missile defense systems that the US has relied on are no longer capable of handling such targets. It's safe to say that the Chinese are developing weapons that could reshape the entire concept of modern defense. What does this mean for future conflicts? It certainly doesn't mean peace of mind for those relying on outdated defense systems. Should we be worried? Absolutely. What a twist! Imagine that instead of a soldier on the battlefield, you see a robot. But not just some clunky metal machine. It's a real combat gadget that can navigate complex routes, charge forward like a tank, and obliterate everything in its path. This little beast is smart, dangerous, and fearless. It's programmed not only to complete combat missions, but to execute them with maximum precision, never missing a single target. Once again, the Chinese are proving how to stay one step ahead, creating gadgets that aren't just extra resources in war, but true game changers. When Chinese fighter jets take to the sky, it's not just a flight, it's a show of force. Pilots, following special instructions, don't just maneuver, they conduct real tests, executing aggressive moves and provoking the Americans into reacting. But why? The Chinese are assessing how quickly their adversaries respond, testing their readiness, and strengthening their strategic position. There's a calculated plan behind this. Every move is precisely measured to create tension without crossing the line into war. This is China's skill, walking the fine line between pressure and provocation. Caution! This isn't a scene from a sci-fi blockbuster. It's a real threat emerging in the US-China standoff. Everything remains within the realm of military strategy rather than open conflict. And even considering such possibilities feels unsettling. But the growing tensions between these nations fuel the wildest speculations. China continues to expand its air power, showcasing capabilities that could shift the balance of power. Who knows what maneuvers and strategies we'll witness in the future if the conflict escalates into something greater. When two oceanic giants, an American and a Chinese aircraft carrier, meet in open waters, they aren't just ships, they are titans ready for battle. Imagine this. Each of these monsters represents decades of engineering genius, a symbol of national strength and ambition. The Chinese, with their cold precision and relentless technological drive, aren't just building ships, they're creating mobile fortresses capable of changing the course of any conflict. Meanwhile, the Americans maintain their dominance, long accustomed to being the world's leading naval power. But if a confrontation does occur, who will reign supreme? How about a Chinese stealth bomber? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But no, this is reality. The Chinese are dead serious when it comes to technology. This beast can penetrate enemy airspace without triggering alarms. Lightning fast, silent, and with precision that many would envy. And just look at its design. An angular shape, as if crafted by a master's hand. Sleek like the classic stealth aircraft, but enhanced with cutting-edge coatings that absorb radar waves. On top of that, it's equipped with the most advanced avionics. Hongi 19 is not just another new toy in China's defense arsenal, it's a full-fledged nightmare for medium-range ballistic missiles. Its debut at Airshow China 2024 created a real buzz, thanks to its active phased array radar, advanced targeting algorithms, and a kinetic kill interceptor missile. Simply put, this system doesn't care if the target has a warhead or defensive countermeasures. The direct impact strike will tear it apart. And now the big question, how much does this worry the Pentagon? A lot. Here they are, Chinese paratroopers, coordinated and fearless, bursting out of the belly of a military transport plane like a formation of steel birds. Every movement is precise, without wasted effort. Gear check, final instructions, and then one step into the void, where gravity is powerless against discipline and training. But what makes this jump special? Cutting-edge equipment that allows them to control descent speed and maneuver, even in tight formations. China hasn't just trained elite paratroopers. It has turned them into a precision tool, capable of landing where the enemy least expects and striking instantly. What if the artillery of the future isn't the roar of cannons and trails of gunpowder smoke, but a burst of energy that hurls a projectile dozens of miles away, slicing through armor like a hot knife through butter? The Chinese didn't just unveil a railgun on their warships, they silently declared, "We're in the game." The Americans once dreamed of such a weapon, poured billions into development, and then gave up. Too expensive, too complex, too unreliable. Now, on the decks of Chinese destroyers, stands an electromagnetic beast that accelerates a metal slug to 1.6 miles per second, nearly Mach 6, and launches it without a single drop of gunpowder. The future of warfare has officially entered Terminator mode. The Chinese took a four-legged robot, gave it a brain, equipped it with a targeting system, and strapped an AR-15 to its back. Now imagine this mechanical hound not only running but also overcoming obstacles, shooting with frightening accuracy, and even swimming. It's remotely controlled, meaning zero risk for the operator. This cyberdog can hunt drones, set up ambushes, patrol borders, and storm enemy positions. China is clearly not just testing a toy. It's demonstrating what future wars will look like. No emotions, no fatigue, no fear. Chinese soldiers are mastering jetpacks, turning themselves into real-life assault Iron Men. Fast, silent, and traffic-free, takeoff, maneuver, landing right at the target. These jet-powered devices give troops mobility that was once only a dream. Reconnaissance, lightning-fast attacks, and obstacle crossings. Controlling them isn't easy, but the potential is massive. And now imagine Pentagon officials watching this, thinking, what if tomorrow an entire squadron of these guys flies over the border? Warfare could become fully three-dimensional, and China clearly isn't planning to fall behind. While conventional missiles are still deciding whether to launch, Xingkong 2 is already breaking the sound barrier, leaving the enemy no time to react. This is China's hypersonic wave rider, ultra-fast, highly maneuverable, and lethally precise, moving at over Mach 5. It literally glides through the upper layers of the atmosphere, evading interception before slamming into its target with devastating force. Range so vast that it can strike the enemy without ever leaving its own safety zone. The US already nervous, because if this missile breaches their missile defense systems, there will be no way to counter it. Now imagine how a single incident, even an accidental one, could trigger an unstoppable chain of events. A damaged ship, a downed aircraft, or a destroyed drone, and Washington decides it's time to show strength. A swift, targeted strike on a Chinese asset, a demonstration of resolve meant to calm the rival. But here's the problem. Beijing can't just swallow the blow. Saving face is paramount for China, meaning a retaliatory counterstrike is inevitable. Then comes a response to the response, and suddenly, the world finds itself in a situation with no way back, and all that's left is to hope that day never comes. Liaoning is more than just a ship. It's a symbol of China's ambition to rule the seas. Once an unfinished Soviet aircraft carrier, Varyag, sold to Ukraine, it has now been fully modernized into a formidable flagship of the Chinese Navy. Its deck serves as a launch platform for J-15 fighters, turning it into a mobile airbase. True, it's not the most advanced carrier out there, but it has become a proving ground for China's future naval giants. The real question is, can China catch up to the US, which already boasts an entire fleet of these behemoths? Chinese airshows are not just a parade of flashy jets, they are a clear message to the world. Fighters, bombers, drones, every maneuver, every sonic boom proves that China is not just catching up, but already setting the rules in the skies. 4 hours a day of sky streaked with afterburners and smoke trails, and even casual spectators understand. This isn't just a show, it's a demonstration of power. Elite piloting, precision coordination, cutting-edge technology, everything that makes China's Air Force formidable and dominant. If conventional missiles are like bullets following a predictable trajectory, then HGVS is a predator, changing course mid-flight, bypassing air defenses, and striking when protection is already useless. China's hypersonic glide vehicles represent a revolution in missile technology, a direct challenge to global security. They soar at over Mach 5, maneuver unpredictably, vanish from radar, and by the time they are detected, it's already too late. Unlike ballistic missiles, they don't follow an expected path, making them nearly impossible to intercept. The world is worried. The US is nervous, because in the hypersonic race, China is clearly pulling ahead. What if, deep within China's secret laboratories, something is already being developed? Something so powerful that it will upend military strategy as we know it. A machine that rewrites the rules of warfare, posing a threat even to the most advanced armies in the world. Hopefully, this is just speculation. But then again, that's what people thought before hypersonic weapons became a reality.